Hey there! This week I've been lucky enough to stay with friends in Bavaria, a southern region of Germany. It's been a pretty traditional Oktoberfest trip. It's been fun, but walking around Bavaria has gotten me thinking about the ends of empires and how traditionally powerful countries lose their place on top. I'm from the United States, so I spend a lot of time thinking about American empire or the American world order. I'm not a big fan of American empire, but what I want is a peaceful evolution, an evolution into a system that everybody can buy into. What I don't want is a fiery crash into war. And that's exactly what I think Washington, D.C. has been working towards. I'm not just talking about Donald Trump here. U.S. policy, from Clinton to Bush to Obama, has been geared towards more war. They don't know much about history in Washington, D.C., and they are missing one of history's most central lessons. There is nothing worse for the traditional country on top than war. Bavaria illustrates this nicely. For centuries, Bavaria was an independent country, and it wasn't the only one. Germany was a mess of independent states up until 1871. They had different interests, and they would frequently go to war with each other. For 200 years, up until 1870, France had been the most powerful country in Europe. It always took massive coalitions of countries to defeat France. So what changed all that? It was war. Bavaria was tremendously proud of its independence, and to some extent it still is today. But French aggression was the main driver of German unification. For centuries, both before and after the French Revolution, kings, republican dictators, and emperors thought that invading Germany was the best way to shore up their power. That's what Napoleon III thought in 1870 as well. He attacked Germany one last time. It was the final catastrophe. France lost to the United Germany in 1870. It took the United States to save France from Germany in 1918, and in 1940, France lost to Germany completely. Germany remains the most powerful country in Europe today, even after losing both of those world wars. And it's the French love of war that made this happen. We see this again and again in history. The Austro-Hungarians and Ottomans thought that World War I was the way to save their tottering empires. Instead, it destroyed both of them. The British won both World War I and World War II, but the costs of fighting those wars ended their empire. The central point that I'm making here is that there is nothing more dangerous to the country on top than war. Wars are hard to control. Even if you win them, you waste valuable resources, and you create resentment in the wider world that can lead to more war and more dangerous wars. Nobody in Washington, D.C. seems to understand this simple fact. Not Trump, not the generals that are actually running the country. And nobody in Congress understands this either, neither Republican nor Democrat. The United States is not France in 1870. But we may be in a similar position to where France was in 1800. It's a terrible thing to contemplate, but we still have the power to utterly destroy North Korea or Iran. We're still the first Napoleon rather than the third, but we're at the start of a bad process. Napoleon III's complete failure in 1870 was set up by all of the first Napoleon's successes. Our constant aggression is already turning the rest of the world against us. The American world order really does have the potential to survive long after the Indian and Chinese militaries are larger than ours. But it won't survive if we keep inventing reasons to start more wars. After 16 years of desperately stupid Middle East policy, the Trump administration now risks creating a grand coalition of countries against us over the Iran nuclear deal. What the Trump administration and Washington, D.C. more generally desperately needs to learn is this simple fact. There is nothing worse for the country on top than more war. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and please consider chipping into my crowdfunding thing on Patreon. It's Patreon more than anything else that keeps this channel going. If you enjoyed my drumming earlier on in the video, I'll be uploading a longer clip of that for the patrons only. Not sure if that's an incentive or not. Anyway, thank you so much.